My nights begin with a trembling silence, a silence shaped like your name, a silence that sits beside me, as if you never truly left. My first wife, my first love, the woman whose laughter still floats in the empty corners of my home, where dust has gathered on memories I never had the courage to touch. I speak softly to the shadows, pretending they can carry my voice to you. Sometimes the air feels warm, as if you passed by me unseen, brushing my soul the way you once brushed my hair, away from my forehead. Every corner of this world reminds me of what I lost. Even the sky seems heavier now, as if it mourns with me, as if it remembers how you loved the rain. I walk slowly these days, not because my steps are weak, but because I fear stepping too far away from the places where your memories live. Nights are the cruelest. They place me on a bed that once held your breath, your warmth, your heartbeat, your whispers that soothed the storms in me. Now I lie alone, with only the echo of your voice, telling me stories of a life we will never finish writing. Your absence is not empty. It is loud. It is sharp. It is a wound that refuses to heal. My heart carries your fingerprints, pressed into it forever, like the last touch you gave me before fate took you away. I still remember the way you used to stand by the window, watching the world with a softness in your eyes that made even the sun slow down, just to look at you a little longer. You were the kind of woman who made ordinary days feel like blessings, who turned small moments into memories, who taught my silence how to smile. Now the same window feels haunted, as if the curtains still wait for your hands to touch them, as if the light hesitates, because it no longer finds you there. Every morning carries a question I can no longer answer. How do I start my day when the reason I used to wake for is not here anymore? Your teacup lies untouched, still waiting on the shelf, as if it believes you might return for one more sip, one more warm morning, one more quiet conversation. I run my fingers along its handle, hoping to find the warmth of your touch, but all I feel is porcelain and the ache of knowing some things refuse to come back. Your clothes remain folded in the old wooden cupboard, carrying the fragrance of a woman who loved deeply and left suddenly. Sometimes I open the door just to breathe you in, just to remind myself that you were real, that you lived, that you loved me once, with a sincerity I still cannot describe. People tell me to move on, but how do you move on from a soul that built a home inside your own? How do you close the chapter when the story still beats inside your chest? I tell them I'm fine, but my heart is a graveyard of moments. Some buried gently, some torn from me before I could even say goodbye. You were the first woman to teach me the meaning of forever, and the first loss to teach me the meaning of pain. Sometimes I sit in the quiet of the night and try to remember the sound of your footsteps, the soft rhythm that once filled our home, like a gentle reminder that I was not alone. But memories fade in strange ways. Faces remain clear, voices stay alive, yet footsteps disappear first, as if heaven needs them more than I do. I remember the way you used to laugh, a laugh that started softly and grew until it wrapped around me, like a warm embrace made of sunlight. I chase that sound in my sleep, but dreams always end too soon. Your smile still visits me, floating in the spaces between my thoughts. It appears when I close my eyes, when I try to rest, when I try to forget that the world took you away, too early, too sharply, too cruelly. There are days I try to be strong, to walk the path you once wished for me, to carry your hopes, your prayers, your unfinished dreams, but strength becomes a heavy burden. When the heart is tired of pretending, I sit down often, letting the weight of your absence pull me to the floor. I talk to you sometimes, not with words, but with the trembling inside my chest. That still knows your name, better than it knows peace. I tell you how the days are passing, how the world has changed, how I still keep your ring safe, as if it were a heartbeat turned to metal. I tell you how I miss you, in ways I cannot explain to anyone, how your memory follows me. Through every room, every breath, every moment I wish you were here. And though I cannot hear your reply, I feel something, a quiet warmth, a soft whisper in the wind, a presence that reminds me you are gone, but not lost. You are not here, but not forgotten. You live in the pulse of my sorrow, in the shadow of my hope, in the every beat my heart still struggles to take. I still revisit the places we once walked together, not because I expect to find you there, but because the wind remembers you, and sometimes it feels kind enough to return a piece of you to me. There is an old bench in the park where you used to sit, feeding birds with hands so gentle that even the shy ones trusted you. Now the bench looks lonely, as if it waits for a woman who will never come back. The birds still gather, but they flutter restlessly, as though searching for the kindness they once tasted in the crumbs you shared. I walk past them quietly, carrying the ache of knowing that even nature misses you. The world carries on. Children laugh. Leaves fall. Skies change their colors. But none of it feels the same. Grief has its own way of repainting the universe, turning every bright color into a softer shade of memory. Sometimes I imagine what life would look like if you were still here. Your laughter in the kitchen, your voice calling my name, your footsteps bringing warmth into every room you entered. I imagine your hands touching mine once more, the way they did when words were not enough to express our love. I imagine your eyes looking at me with that quiet trust. That made me believe. There are days when the world feels light, when the sun touches my face gently, when the breeze is soft enough that it almost feels like your fingers running across my cheek. On those days, I allow myself to believe that you are still close, not in body, but in spirit, in memory, in every place my heart still keeps you. Sometimes I sit with my eyes closed and imagine your head resting on my shoulder. The silence becomes warm, almost like the evenings we spent together, listening to the world fall asleep, while holding on to the comfort of each other's heartbeat. I replay our conversations, the ones filled with dreams and laughter, and even the ones filled with worry and tears, because everything with you was a part of my story, a part of who I became. You weren't just my wife, you were the calm in my storms, the courage in my fears, the softness in my anger, the meaning behind my happiness. I didn't realize that love could turn into pain. So quietly, so suddenly, so permanently. People think grief is loud, a great crashing wave that knocks you to the ground. But grief is quiet. It sits beside you like a shadow. It walks with you like an old companion. It speaks when the world is silent. It whispers your name when I try to move forward, reminding me that love is not something you leave behind. Your photographs still rest on the shelf above my bed. Sometimes I talk to them as if the pictures are listening, as if the smiles captured in them still understand my pain. I tell you about my day, about the small victories, about the quiet struggles, about the moments I wish you were here to share. You were the first woman who taught me how beautiful life could be, and the first loss that taught me how fragile it really is. Sometimes I wonder if you miss me too, wherever you are, if you look down at me with the same longing that pierces me every night. I wonder if love survives the distance between two worlds. A part of me believes it does. A part of me feels that you are still holding my heart, still guiding my steps, still protecting me the way you always did. And maybe that's why I'm still standing, because somewhere, somehow, you never truly let go. There are nights when I wake suddenly, my heart beating fast, certain that I heard your voice calling my name in the dark. I sit up, look around the room, search the silence for the echo of the woman I once held close, but the darkness only stares back, cold and empty, holding no trace of the warmth you once brought into my life. I lie back slowly, letting the heaviness in my chest settle. And every time, I whisper the same words. I miss you. I miss you more than anyone knows. It's strange how memory works. I forget what people said yesterday, but I still remember the exact sound of your happiness, the way your eyes brightened, when you talked about the future, the softness in your voice. When you told me everything would be all right, you had a way of healing things without even trying. Your presence alone was a kind of medicine I didn't appreciate enough. When I had it, now I carry the ache of that realization. It follows me everywhere, like a quiet reminder that love can disappear, but its lessons remain. I remember the last night we spent together, not knowing it was the last. If I had known, I would have held your hands longer, watched your face more carefully, memorized your every breath, as if it were a prayer. I would have told you all the things I didn't say, how deeply I loved you, how grateful I was for every moment, how safe I felt whenever you were near. But life doesn't warn us. Before it takes away what we treasure most, it simply happens, leaving us to gather the pieces of a world we no longer recognize. And now I live each day in the echo of your absence. I try to smile. I try to breathe. I try to carry on. But the truth is, some parts of me left with you. Some parts of me still follow you, searching for the place where your soul has gone. And if love has a voice, it still speaks your name. Through me, every evening, when the sky begins to turn gold, I feel the ache of your absence, growing heavier in my chest. Sunsets used to be our favorite time. You would stand beside me, leaning gently on my arm, watching the light fade, as if you were memorizing every last color in the sky. Now I watch the sunset alone, and the sky feels empty. No matter how bright it glows, it holds beauty, but no joy. It holds color, but no warmth. I keep thinking about the little things, the way you folded your scarves, the way you hummed while cooking, the way you whispered my name as if it were something precious. Back then, I didn't realize how deeply those moments would shape my life. I didn't know that one day, those tiny memories would be the treasures I cling to in the dark. Sometimes I sit in our old room and listen to the silence. It has a rhythm now, a slow, steady reminder that time moves forward, even when the heart does not. The walls still hold your laughter. The bed still holds your shape. The mirror still remembers the way you stood in front of it, fixing your hair, smiling at your reflection with a grace that came so naturally. Your perfume still lingers. In corners I rarely touch, as if the air refuses to forget you. There are days I feel strong enough to open the drawers, to unfold your clothes, to touch the fabric that once rested on your skin. But then I stop, because the moment I do, the truth becomes too real, that you are no longer here to wear them, to warm them, to breathe life into them. Grief is not a storm that passes quickly. It is a season that returns again and again, in fragments, in whispers, in sudden waves that leave me breathless. And every wave carries your name, every tear carries your memory, every heartbeat carries the echo of a love that ended too soon. You were my beginning, and somehow you have become my forever. Nights are the hardest because they carry too much silence, silence that used to be peaceful when you were beside me, but now it feels heavy, cold. I walk through the house, and every corner feels like a memory you forgot to take with you. The chair you used to sit in still faces the same direction, as if waiting for you to return and rest your tired hands on its arms again. The kitchen feels quieter now. You used to move through it with a calm rhythm, your footsteps soft, your presence warm. You turned the simplest meal into a moment of love. Now the silence in that room feels like a reminder of how much joy you once brought and how empty life feels without that joy beside me. I find your handwriting on old notes, small reminders you left for me. Don't forget your keys. Eat something before you go. I love you. Who knew simple words could hold so much weight? When the hands that wrote them are gone, I hold those papers gently, afraid they might tear, afraid the last traces of you might slip away if I'm not careful. Your voice still visits me in the quiet moments, not as sound, but as memory, a soft echo. That reminds me how deeply I was loved and how deeply I still love you. Sometimes I talk to you as if you are still listening, telling you about my worries, my loneliness, my fragile attempts to keep going. I don't know if you hear me, but I hope you do. I hope you know that every day without you feels like walking through a world missing its light. You were the warmth that held my heart steady, the comfort that softened every edge of life. Without you, everything feels sharper, colder, quieter. But even in the quiet, I feel your love. It lingers in the air, in the things you touched, in the spaces we shared. And when the loneliness becomes too heavy, I close my eyes and imagine your hand in mine, soft, warm, steady, reminding me that love never leaves. It just becomes invisible. Some afternoons, I sit by the window where you used to watch the rain. You always said that raindrops felt like tiny messages from heaven, soft reminders that even the sky needed to cry sometimes. Now I watch the rain without you, and it feels different. The drops fall harder, the sky grows darker, and every ripple on the ground feels like a tear I haven't shed yet. Rain used to soothe me when your head rested on my shoulder, but now it only reminds me of everything I've lost. I wonder if you can see the storms from above, if the sound of thunder still makes you fold your arms the way you used to. I wonder if you miss the simple warmth of our togetherness, the way I do. Life moves forward in ways I cannot understand. The world goes on laughing, growing, healing, but a part of me stays rooted. In the moment you left, time has become a strange companion, dragging me forward, even when I try to stay in the memories where you still exist. Sometimes I visit the places where we once shared our quietest joys, the small shop where we bought tea, the street where you held my arm tightly, the path where we walked, talking about nothing and everything.